Hello and welcome to the Ascend Beyond podcast. I started this podcast to inspire people to recognize that they can achieve absolutely anything, just like I'm trying to do with my clothing brand. And I started this podcast because when I first started my creative pursuit, when I started first chasing the life that I actually wanted, I was mocked because when I first started, it was cringe and it sucked. And people mocked me and laughed at me for it. But I kept going. And now I like to believe that I'm getting to a point where what I'm creating is actually good. And if I can do it, so can you. So without further ado, let's get into the first episode. So this is episode 1 of the Ascend Beyond podcast. I just want to say this is probably going to be scuffed. It's not going to be perfect. And honestly, that's a good thing because nothing's perfect when you first start, you know? When I first started my first clothing brand, it was terrible. And now I like to believe where I'm at right now is pretty good. Considering where I started, if you compare the two, it's pretty good. Anyway, in this episode, I want to talk about how you only have one life. And can you honestly say you are living it? Like, as someone who. What the. See, that's already a rough start, you know? Just almost broke our phone. Let's, let's get back into it. So, as someone who spent most of their life just drifting through it, not really moving with intention. I kind of just reacted to things. I didn't chase my dream. I didn't chase, anything. I woke up and I was like, I'm just gonna let things be. I'm just gonna, it is what it is. Which is powerful when you need to be like that, but most of the time you don't need to be like that. Most of the time you need to take action and actually live your life true to yourself, not just letting things be, not just letting people treat you how they want to treat you. Not just letting your dreams pass by, not just letting time pass by and not doing anything with it. So, in this podcast, there's 4 topics I want to cover. And the first one is, what does it mean to be alive? Have you ever actually sat and thought about that? Like, what is the point of this? Like, what am I actually alive for? And honestly, I think loads of people have, but they don't, they overcomplicate it, right? What is life? Like, what is life? It's just being alive, right? So, the point of life is to live. But are you really living? That's the whole point of this episode of this podcast is to ask yourself, are you really living? You know, think about it today, right? You probably woke up late, no alarm set, which is fair enough. You don't have to have an alarm. It's not, anyway. You probably woke up late, just went on your phone, scrolled, messaged people that half of them you don't even care about, just felt like you had to reply, sent snap streaks. I don't know. Maybe that's something you do. If not, whatever. You reply to people, you check your emails, maybe check just check a lot of notifications, started scrolling for a couple hours, made some breakfast, had a cup of coffee maybe, and then if you got work today, maybe you went to work, or maybe you start later. The point is, right? Did you wake up with a reason? Did you wake up with I'll give you an example, right? Today I woke up at a set time because I was like, right, I'm gonna wake up today. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna live today. I'm gonna choose and I'm gonna control what I do today. I'm gonna decide what I do with my life today. I'm not just gonna let things happen to me. Go to some job because I have to, or else I lose my house. No, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna wake up today. I'm gonna choose to do things. I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna go for a run, which I actually didn't do because it was raining, like really badly raining. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna whatever I can't remember what I was doing. It's been a long day, but I woke up and I actually just spent the time that I had today in a way that I wanted to do, in the way I wanted to spend it. Most people don't, you know. So look back on how your life has been. Look back on how you've been spending your life, and just ask yourself: is this really how I want to live? Does this really excite me? Does waking up late scrolling on my phone, eating whatever crap food I have in my cupboard, just drifting through life, saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna let things be." Does that really make you feel alive? I woke up this morning and I did a bunch of stuff. Like I worked on a lot of things that I'm passionate about, which most people don't even have passions, which, that's a different topic. But I felt alive because I felt like I was like present in the moment, Like I'm doing this, like I'm actually living my life. I woke up today, I did this, I did what I had intention behind my actions. I wasn't just doing things for the sake of doing them. I wasn't scrolling on my phone, watching things I don't even care about. I wasn't messaging people I don't even care about. Everything I do is with intent. It's because that's how I want to live. So when you ask yourself, what does it mean to be alive? It means to be living true to yourself. It means to be living how you want to live. It doesn't mean aimlessly drifting from, day to day, week to week, month to month, just, telling yourself things are going to get better, but not actually doing anything about it. There's a big difference between living and simply surviving. And most people nowadays are just surviving. They're just getting by. And that's okay sometimes. That's okay when you need that. When you feel like life is so hard that all you can do is survive. But at some point you have to get sick of that and you have to be like, no, I'm gonna make some changes. I'm gonna start showing up for myself because I don't want to live this kind of life. And I did that for myself because I got into the phase where it felt like a chore just to wake up. It felt like a chore just to survive. But when you push past that and you get sick of just feeling like, oh, like you're just drifting every day, like what's the point? Then that's when you start making a change. That's when you start striving for more. And that's when you start feeling alive because you actually like it's a weird feeling. I don't know how to explain it without like you'll understand when you hit that point, when you start showing up every day and living for yourself, doing things you actually want to do, rather than just feel like because you have to or you have nothing else to do. Like I remember when I wasn't passionate about anything, when I didn't have goals, when I didn't have respect for myself, like I'd talk to people I didn't like, I'd scroll all the time, I'd play games all the time, which I still play games now. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying like that's all I did. And my whole life was just wake up, scroll, reply to people, message people that I didn't care about, eat crap food, spam my friends with TikToks and reels. And at some point, you just hit a point where it's like, is this all there is to life? Is this all I'm meant for? And most people are just drifting through life. That's the second topic. I kind of already talked about that. Most people are living that way. And I'm not trying to say it's a bad way to live. It's just I don't believe you even think it's a good way to live. Like if you're honest with yourself, are you actually happy living that way? Would you want your future kids to live that way? Live the life you have right now? You know? Is this the life you want for your future kids? Then if it's not, then why do you want it for yourself? And you don't want it for yourself, right? Maybe you're in a position where in your life right now, if I can get my words out, where it's hard to even like I said, it's hard to just survive, which is fair enough, right? But eventually you're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to make conscious decisions in your life, not just unconscious reactions to things that happen. Have to take control. Now, if you're someone who struggles with this taking action and actually making the decisions and actually showing up, and you know, if you're someone who struggles with making the changes, then don't worry because I was that way. I used to struggle. In fact, sometimes I still do. But like there was a time, I think like 3 years ago, when I used to go to college, and I was in a weird stage in my life. Like I didn't care about college. I hated it honestly because I didn't care about any of the courses I was doing. Like I didn't care about getting a job because I was doing film, media, and IT. I didn't care about getting a job in any of those fields. I just didn't care because I didn't even want a job, right? I had one because I still have the same job. I worked at McDonald's, right? It's not I'm dissing jobs. I just didn't want a job. I wanted to work, but I didn't want a job. You know what I mean? But I didn't know what options I had. I didn't know what to do with my life. I was so lost. Like it was such a weird feeling. I felt like I was just pointlessly existing and just like I said, drifting. Every day I was just like, what am I doing? Like I've been to college, I've done a lot of stuff I don't even care about, and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and do the same thing. I'm gonna do the same thing for the next 2 years. Then I'm gonna go to uni, pay a bunch of money, get in debt for something I don't even care about anyway, just because this is what you're supposed to do, right? I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do any of that. I didn't want to go to college, but I didn't want to just be some lazy guy who just sat around, playing games all day, listening to music, just doing like pointless things, right? Like those things are fun in moderation, but when you do those things all day and that's all you do is wake up, you scroll, you eat food that's unhealthy, you don't go outside, that is even emptier than working a job you hate because it's even more pointless. So I was lost. I had no idea what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what options there were. I didn't even know that there were other options than high school and college and university. Because everyone used to say, "Oh, you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it." But everyone knew how to do was go to college, get a degree. I mean, go to college, go to university, get a degree, and hopefully you get a good job, right? That was all anyone knew. If you put your mind to it and get a good degree, you'll get a good job and you'll be happy. But everyone who told me to do that wasn't even happy themselves. So that's when I realized I needed to find things I was interested in. I needed to I had no interest. Like my only interest was gaming, and that was it. Like I mean, to be honest, I had been a creative person my whole life, right? Like through high school, I had a YouTube channel. I also used to make games. Oh, I tried making games. There's a whole reason why I bought the PC I currently have still now. I also made mods for games, and I used to make YouTube videos about the mods I'd make. I used to make mods for Star Wars Battlefront 2. I always used to create things, but I never knew those. I could create something that would make me money. I never knew I could create something as a career. So it was around 2021 or 2022, I think, that I discovered entrepreneurship. Now, I'm not trying to push, people becoming an entrepreneur. It's not for everyone. But I learned that you could literally create anything. As long as it fixed the problem, you could literally create anything. And if it fixed the problem well enough, you could turn it into a career. Now, when your whole life is based around getting a good job, that literally defeats everything. I never wanted to get a job, but I was always a creative person. I'd always been creating things. I'd always been learning things. But I learned more through what I researched myself than what I learned from school. Like, I learned how to make games from YouTube. I learned how to make mods from YouTube. I learned how to make videos from YouTube. And I learned how to edit from YouTube. It was how to record and stuff like that. I learned everything myself rather than from school. Like, I'll be honest, I did well at school, right? But everything I did at school, I barely even remember because it was all just pointless. It was like a memory test at that point. You study all this stuff just to pass a test that goes based off what you remember. But the knowledge itself is not applicable to real world scenarios. It doesn't actually allow you to create anything. I mean, maybe some of it does if you get into the top universities, but everything I learned at high school was pointless, and everything I learned in college was pointless. So, and the stuff you actually do learn is the basics as well. So it doesn't equip you with any sort of tools. And that's why I was so lost because I was like, I don't care about anything I'm doing. I don't care about anything I'm learning because it's all just basic crap. And I don't care about getting a job because like why would I want that, you know? I don't like I like building things. I like creating things. And at a job, you have to create. Like you can't like you'll understand if you're a creative person, you'll understand this, right? Creativity comes from independence. It comes from having your own personal ideas. And when you're working at a job, that's not your personal idea. So it doesn't fulfill that creative desire that you have because you're working for someone else's dream. You're working for someone else's creative desire. Now, there are some jobs where you can fulfill this creative desire that they do allow some independence, but most of them do not. But at this time, I still struggled with taking action because, like I said, I was drifting. I didn't believe in myself, to be honest. And I discovered entrepreneurship from TikTok. I didn't do anything about it. I was like, yo, I'd love to do that. That sounds amazing, you know? Working on my own desires, my own like creative desires. That sounds amazing. That's literally probably the answer to my problems. Because I didn't care about a job. I wasn't a lazy person. Like I wanted to work, but I just didn't care about the work I was doing. So it's hard to actually work. But I didn't do anything about it. I continued to not take action, to not chase my new dream, to not build something that I actually cared about. And I made the same excuses all the time. It's like, oh, but I'm just tired today. But oh, well, what if it's bad? And what if people think I'm just an idiot? I don't think I'm actually capable of making this work. And I used to just regurgitate these poor beliefs into myself until I just believed, oh yeah, I'm not cut out for entrepreneurship. I'm not cut out for building something. I can't do anything. I'm useless. Which deep down most people probably think about themselves because the world is set up for you to think that way because they don't want people to think like that. They don't want people to create things because if everyone created things, then the world would look completely different because no job would exist. It'd just be people creating something and fixing each other's problems through their own creations. But that's it's a bit of a deep topic, that one. But anyway, so I struggled with taking action until I hit a point where it was like I don't even like my life anymore. I don't even see the point of being alive. Like I hit rock bottom and I was like if I don't make any changes at some point, I'm just going to just honestly end in my life because I hated living every single day. I was like, what is the point? I've always been someone who thinks very deeply. Like people I talk to who are older than me, like I used to have deep conversations with them when I was like 14, and they'd always say like, for such a young person, you have such a like dense thought pattern. Like you think so deeply. I had such an intricate way of thinking and processing things, and that's honestly is why I got into this pursuit at such a young age because I used to question everything. I used to just be like, "What's the point of getting a job when like there's literally is not there's no point for me." Now that's just my personal opinion. Like you're entitled to your own, but yeah. So I hit the point where I was like, if I don't make any change, I'm just gonna end up ending it all because I don't see a point anymore. And at that point, I had unlimited motivation. I started my first business. It was terrible. Honestly, it was terrible, but it felt amazing. Like it was the first time in my life where I actually felt like, wow, this is what it feels like to actually chase your dreams and actually be alive. I'm actually doing what I want to do. Even though it sucked, and I knew it sucked, but I didn't even care anymore. All them times where I was like, oh, what are people gonna think of me? What are people gonna what are people gonna think I'm weird for starting this business and starting posting on YouTube? People are gonna think I'm weird. I was like, I don't care. You know, if I didn't do this, I would have probably dead because I got that low. I got that close to just ending everything because I wasn't doing what I wasn't actually living. I got so tired of not living that I was like, what's the point of being alive if I'm not living? Not living true to what I actually want from my life. So then I started my first business, and that's how I started to feel alive. Now, it wasn't just business, right? That's not the message of this podcast. It's not to start a business. It's to take action on something that matters to you. Because I guarantee you're probably not living your life true to yourself. It doesn't just mean you have to start a business and that'll fix all your problems. No. It means chase what actually matters to you. And if you don't know what matters to you, then you need to figure that out. And that takes some questioning of things, Like, question your life, question what you did today. Is that really how you want to live your life? Do you really want to wake up at, I don't know, just some late, like I used to wake up at like 12 p.m., like 1 p.m., sometimes 11, not 11, wait, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I used to wake up, and then I didn't get out of bed until like an hour later, and then I'd have like a crappy meal that was sometimes just leftover food from the night before, or just I'd have like chocolate bars for breakfast. Ah, it was terrible, man. But you have to go through that period to understand what you actually want. You have to do a lot of what you don't want to find out what you do want, because what you do want is obviously like an opposite of what you don't, right? And you're born without any idea of what to do. So you do all these things and you realize, oh, I don't want to do that. But you have to make a change to find out what you do want, because maybe you change your life and you realize, oh, I don't actually want to live this way. I don't actually want to get up at 5 a.m. I wake up at 10 to 5, right? Like, what if I end up doing this for another year or two and then decide, oh no, I don't want to wake up at 5 anymore. That doesn't feel right to me. I want to wake up at 6. I mean, that won't happen because I realize I actually enjoy getting up at this time. But let's say you decided, oh, I'm going to wake up early, and then you wake up at 5 and you think, oh, I don't actually like getting up at 5. That's not how I want to live my life. I'll wake up at 7 instead. Just stuff like that, right? You don't, it doesn't, you, it just means you have to make some changes to find out what you actually like. Because you might make a change and not like it, but then you just make another change, and then maybe you do like it. But you have to take action. Because if you don't, you'll just continue to sink, and then you'll end up hitting old age. This is why people have midlife crisis, right? By the way, like they hit like 35, or to be honest, it might be later because it's usually after the kids have grown up and left the house. They realize that they did nothing with their life, and now they have no foundation. Now they have nothing to do because they never spent any time figuring themselves out. So they have a midlife crisis. They quit their jobs, they get a divorce or something stupid. They go traveling for 3 years and then they realize, wow, I've missed out on so much. And then they regret doing all them crazy decisions they made when they had a midlife crisis. And they just sink because it, that's kind of deep. I don't know where that was going, to be fair. But the point is, like, you're going to end up regretting not taking action and figuring life out and deciding what you actually want to do with it. You know, it's okay to not know what you want to do, but it's not okay to not find out what you want to do. It's not okay to just be like, oh, I don't really know what to do, mate. So I'm just gonna wake up every day and scroll. That's not okay. I used to have no interests. I used to have no idea what I wanted to do. And then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna try a bunch of things. I tried. I think the first thing I tried was like I said, I tried making games. Now, it was kind of fun, but it was so complicated that I just was like, no, I'm not doing this. Right? It might be something that I'll do again in the future just to have a go at it again, but no, I didn't like that, so I tried something else. And then I decided, oh, I'm going to make mods because it was based on things that have already been made. I just tweaked them a bit, which I was like, I can do that. And I was like, yo, this is so fun. A few YouTubers made like use my mods in the videos, and it was so cool. And then someone found my channel and I got embarrassed and deleted everything. So that's a bit disappointing. But then I tried something else, and I think I can't remember what else I tried, but I tried other things, and then I ended up trying a clothing brand, and that was like, wow, okay, I love this. I had never been interested in fashion, honestly. I literally am that type of guy who wears the same stuff all the time. Like I have 3 black joggers, 3 black shirts, and 3 black hoodies. I just wear the same stuff. Like I'm not interested in fashion, but I'm interested in creating clothes. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why I'm interested in creating clothes, but I love it. I love it so much. And I wouldn't have ever found that if I didn't just push myself out of my comfort zone and try certain things. There's certain times where I tried some weird stuff. Like I tried like making a film. Wait, what is it called? Like a film production. I tried being like, oh, getting a film production company. I tried starting one of them. I tried starting a modeling agency for some reason. I tried starting like some self improvement community. I tried starting tried doing drop shipping, which obviously that's not going to be my passion because that's just literally just trying to make money, and making money is never anyone's real passion. Our passion is in the creativity, not the result of that. But the point is, you have to try, or else you're not really living. You have to have intention behind your life, or else you're not actually living. I heard this quote in a song I love. It says, "I know we're breathing, but that doesn't mean we're alive." I think it's something like that, you know? And it says, and there's another one from the same artist. It's like, everyone's gonna die, but not everyone is gonna live. And that's because not everyone lives true to themselves. Now, if you're curious, that's NF. I actually love NF so much. Like, his songs give me so many like inspirational ideas for podcasts and videos and stuff. And honestly, listening to him inspired my way of thinking, which then ended up with me creating this clothing brand that I have, which the whole message behind it is that you are infinitely capable. It's the same message of this podcast. You are infinitely capable, which means that you can learn anything, you can create anything, you can get through anything, and you can achieve anything. You know? What they said when we were kids is true. You can achieve anything if you put your mind to it, but most people don't know what is actually possible. Most people don't know that they can just go on the internet, learn a new skill, and then go and create something with that skill, and then improve that thing so much that it becomes valuable, and then they can turn that into a career. Most people don't know that because they never bothered to even try. But at some point, you wake up and realize there's more to life than just pointlessly waking up, falling asleep when you're, in bed tired, watching some crap on TV, or scrolling or playing some game. There's more to life than that. And you're missing out if you don't strive for that. People are going to think you're weird for doing that. People are going to laugh at what you create, but they'll never understand the fulfillment that comes from creating something that you're passionate about, from finding that interest that you didn't know you had. Finding that thing that you want to pursue that ignites your curiosity. Maybe you try like 10 different things and only one of them you like, or maybe you don't like any of them, so you just try another 10 things. You just got to take action and do something. Because even if you don't like these things, you'll know for yourself that you tried. You took action and you lived true to yourself because you went on that, you explored. Because life is full of infinite possibilities to explore. Yet you just stick to the same one every single day and you don't even like it and you know you don't. You just don't believe it's possible to make a change. Or maybe you don't want to because in reality, not making a change is so comfortable. It's so easy. It's so easy to wake up every day and scroll and eat crap food and not do any exercise and not go outside and speak to people you don't care about and just go to a job you hate because it pays. And it's so easy to do all these things, but the hard part that comes from doing these easy things all your life is when you wake up, in your mid 40s and you look back on your life and you think, what was the point of it? I got by. But is that really what I wanted from my life? Is that really what I wanted? Did I want to just get by or did I want to just live? Did I want to go out in the world and create something? Did I want to go out in the world and have some highs and lows, Did I want to just do something with my life with intention, with conscience behind it, Be like, because most of people like are in the bodies, but they're not really present because the mind's somewhere else because they don't even care about the life they're living because it's so mundane that they're just trapped in the head all the time. They've no intention. There's no presence there. So the final message for this podcast is go and live your life. Go and do something that ignites your curiosity. If you don't know what to do, try something. Try something. Just search for things. Google is full of things you can try. Honestly, sometimes I just ask AI. I know it sounds silly, but I ask ChatGPT. I'm like, bro, give me like 100 things I can like 100 like different interests I can explore because I want to find out what I want to do with my life. Ask that, and you will literally get 100 things, and you just try one of them. Or just maybe you already have something that you're curious about. You know, maybe when you were a kid you wanted to be a singer or something. I don't know, just go and do something, man. Take action because you only have one life, and I want you to honestly be able to say that you are living it. So that's everything for this episode. I hope to see you in the next one. And if you're still watching, which for the first episode, I doubt anyone is, honestly, but that's okay because, I'm going to be consistent with this and I'm going to grow it. I'll see you in the next one. And please check out my clothing brand. I don't know if I can link it anywhere on Spotify, but if you're watching from YouTube, it will be linked in the description. With that being said, goodbye.